hungry for success. I was hungry to make a name for myself and my family, make money. I loved making dresses for myself and family and friends. But I didn't think I was going to end up as a fashion designer.
We can't talk about Veekee James clothing without talking about pricing. Your prices has caused a lot of controversies in the media.
What's important is that
we have one of the biggest forces in the fashion industry. The beautiful woman sitting right next to me, she's from Nigeria, and her name is the Veekee James. Can we give her a round of applause, please? Veekee James.
hello,
You look stunning.
you look amazing.
Even more stunning in person.
Thank you so much. You look amazing as well.
Thank
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Okay, so we have a few questions for you. Talk us through your background and how you got started.
Okay, so quite a number of people already know my story and my background. I grew up in Ajebule. I grew up in AJ City, somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria, and Ajebule is like a rough, it's like the trenches of like the mainland. So I grew up there and I lost my dad before I was 5. So it was just myself, my 2 brothers, and my mom. Life was tough. It was hard, but I mean, God was faithful. God is faithful. He's been there all through. So it wasn't easy starting off as a fashion designer in Ajegome, because that was where I started, in my mom's small parlor. So it was hard, but I don't think that's a story that I can finish telling today.
Yes.
So what I will say is that it was hard, but like that's the beauty of my success story, you know, the journey that God took me through. And I'm just so grateful that He saw me through that journey.
Do you know what I love about your story? It's when they say you started from the bottom and now you're here. Can we just give her a round of applause? She started from the bottom and now she's here. Okay, so what inspired you to become a fashion designer? Because I watched one of your interviews. You said you started sewing in your mom's house at the age of 8. So what inspired that?
Well, I think it's just one of my talents, first of all. And that's why I started sewing at the age of 8, because I don't even know how I started, because it's not like I took classes with my mom or anything. I just started sewing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I loved doing. Passion for fashion designing. So I was just doing it for myself. I loved making dresses for myself and family and friends. But I didn't think I was going to end up as a fashion designer, you know. I think what inspired the Veekee James brand would be the fact that I was hungry for success, and I was hungry to make a name for myself and my family. And I was hungry to be able to, you know, make money and fend for myself and be financially independent as a woman. Yeah, that's what inspired the Veekee James brand.
So we follow you on social media and we see how much you love your family. You're a family-oriented person. We see how you talk about your mom, your husband, and all that. What would you say were the core values that your family instilled in you that still stayed with you till today?
The core values that my family, I would say my mom instilled in me would be that family comes first. So family is very important. No matter how much you make, no matter where you go, always remember to come back home, because, you know, home is where there's peace. You can make all the money in the world. You can be very famous. You can, you know, have all the connections that you need. But like when you have family and people that you can always run back to and be able to be vulnerable with, that's like the best thing ever. That's why I prioritize family.
I love that. I love that. So, where did you get your inspiration from for all your fab dresses? Because let's be honest, guys, we have a lot of copycats in the fashion industry. How do you separate your style, your fashion from that of your rivals?
For inspiration, I would say, first of all, God, to be very honest, because most of my designs that have really helped push my brand and have gone very viral, like most of them I had to ask God for them. And when I say it sometimes, most people who have not experienced stuff like that always like, what's this one saying? We all have God, right? But I think that's like my first source. Every time I want to create a masterpiece, the first thing I do is ask God to help me. Sometimes I see the designs in my dreams like I'm not even joking.
Wow.
Yeah. So first of all, and that's why I return all the glory to God. Like every time a dress goes viral, I know to return all the glory to God because I couldn't have done it on my own. Like even when I finish making the dresses, I sit down and I think, and I'm like, there's no way my mind would have been able to create this if not for God. So that's where I draw most of my inspiration from, if not all of them, from God. Yeah,
I love that.
And then another source would be the fact that I intend to take my brand, to the next level. Like globally, I intend to see and hear people talk about my brand all over the world. So just that drive to reach that kind of milestone is also what inspires me to make sure that apart from being consistent and hardworking, I'm always creating something that's different from what any other person would do.
So Veekee, we've seen some of your amazing pieces, and then you have some people who actually do copy you and who wouldn't give you credit. But we, your fans, know that's Veekee James fashion. So how do you react to such people who wouldn't give you credit for inspiring them?
Are you talking about fashion designers?
Fashion designers, yes.
Well, I've experienced that a lot, and I don't think that I've been able to really handle it the way that I would want it to be handled because, especially in the country where I'm based, there are no rules surrounding how to handle situations like that. So I think I've just, come to the realization of how things are. And I've just decided to tell myself that, you know what, you lead and they follow. So just keep leading. Yeah, that's what I tell myself.
I love that. Okay. We can't talk about Veekee James clothing without talking about pricing. Your prices has caused a lot of controversies in the media.
It has.
What would you say to people who are still like, why are you still charging that? What would you say to that?
So what's important is that those who are talking are not the people paying me. So first of all, I do all the talking. My account is still receiving all the credit alerts.
Love that.
I know that high price is relative to people's economic power, to people's financial situation. So I mean, most times I sympathize with the fact that these people don't understand how it works or how other people are able to pay for my designs, right? So, and there's really nothing I can do about that. I think what I'll say to them is, maybe try to work yourself or work your finances up to where you would be able to understand why I place so much value on my brand and why I charge the amount that I charge, because I'm not going to lower the value that I give or lower my pricing to meet you where you are.
Yes. I love that. You've worked so hard,
I have.
You know your value. So if you don't have the money, please be going. Thank you.
Period.
Okay. Can you share with us a memorable moment or career highlight that shaped you as a designer?
A memorable moment would be, there are a lot. Maybe my feature on CNN. Was that the question that you asked me? Yeah, my feature on CNN. It changed my life and the way that I saw myself because, I know that I'm a great designer. I know that I'm successful at my fashion designing job, but it just made me see myself, bigger than where I saw myself. And it just made me realize that, God has done so much work with you. You might not know it, you might not really see it, but it just opened my eyes to really appreciate where God has brought me and where he brought me from and how far he's taken me in just a space of 5 years. I started the Veekee James brand about 5 to 6 years ago. So And I know there are a lot of people who started fashion designing way longer than I did. And I'm not saying that they didn't put in so much work or that God hasn't done, so much for them as well. It just made me really grateful, to really appreciate myself and all the work that I have put in. Yeah. And that shaped me as a fashion designer as well, because it encouraged and motivated me to keep doing what I'm doing, People are watching, people are seeing it, and I have no idea what God has in store for me going forward. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Let's go back to the 8-year-old Veekee. Did you ever envision the Veekee James now?
Honestly, no. I mean, I knew that I wanted to be successful. I didn't want to live in Ajegule forever, because there are families that have lived in Ajegule for years and years. Parents will die, they will stay there, have their children. They will die and their children will have children, and they're just there. I didn't want that for myself and my family. I knew I wanted to work hard and be successful, but I didn't know that I was going to be this girl, and that, God was going to change my life in such a short period of time.
Wow.
So I didn't envision it, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. So what's next for Veekee James? Are there any upcoming projects? Are there any collaboration you would like us to know about?
For collaborations, I do not think so. I don't think I'm doing any collaborations anytime soon. But yeah, I'm definitely working on a lot of things. We're definitely working on taking like the Veekee James brand out of Nigeria to the UK, to the US, to Canada, and to like other parts of the world. Yeah, so there's a lot that everyone should expect from the Veekee James brand.
Let's talk legacy. I know you're very humble, but your brand is really big.
People don't think so, though.
Oh, I think.
Not me personally, don't think.
Guys, I literally met her today. She's one of the most humble celebrities I have met. So thank you for just being
Thank you so much.
Let's talk legacy. What legacy do you hope to leave behind in the world of fashion?
Before I started fashion designing, I saw fashion as like a job that was meant for only poor people, because my mom is a tailor and we were poor. So, and that's the reason why I didn't think I was going to end up as a fashion designer. Like, I did see myself working as a fashion designer or making a living out of fashion designing, because we were poor and my mom was a tailor. So I felt like this is just a poor man's job. So I went to try to do medicine, ended up doing biochemistry, and it wasn't like, I had no passion for biochemistry, so I almost failed at it, So I think what I've intentionally done, or what I'm intentionally doing, is showing other young girls and boys and other people that you can actually be successful and, make a name for yourself and thrive as a fashion designer, or as someone who's, into like handwork that every other person might look down on. You can make as much money as someone in the oil company can make, So that's the kind of legacy I'm hoping to leave, when I leave this world after all my work in the fashion industry, to make people know that this is like a reputable job. You can invest your time here. You can invest 100% of yourself here, and you'll see results. Yeah.
Let's talk about your haters, the trolls. How do you deal with the trolls, all the haters, all the people that has something negative to say about you or about your business?
I'm very much aware of the fact that not everyone would like you. So, I mean, you win some and you lose some. There's a saying that goes, if nobody talks about you, then you're nobody. So, I mean, I have all these things at the back of my head, and I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a strong follower of Christ. And because I studied the Word of God, it has helped me, and it has helped shape the way that I reason. I mean, if people could treat Jesus the way that he was treated, how much more me, right? So, yeah, I think that's what helps me. I honestly don't see the haters. I don't. I just live my life, one day after the other, and I live my life trying to please God. If at any point in time I offend anyone, the person I'm asking is if I offended God or if I really offended anyone. And I find a way to forgive myself and ask God for forgiveness, and I move on. That's all that matters. Yeah.
She's a fashion designer. She has the word as well. Complete package. Okay, looking across the room right now, we have a lot of young people who are aspiring to be something in life. They want to be Veekee James. They want to go into the fashion industry. They want to be whatever it is that you're aspiring to be. What advice would you give them?
Be yourself. Stay true to yourself. Be unique. Find your personality and expand on it. Don't try to be like anybody else, because you cannot last long at any field or in a certain sector if you're trying to be somebody else. There's so much that's inside of you that you can explore. There's so many personalities that you have as a person that you can explore and build on. And by doing that, you'll be able to show the world what you have as a person. I feel like you cannot really succeed trying to be someone else, because you can't pretend for that long. So even with your social media as a business person, show people who you are. Let the people who want to love you for who you are stay there. And that helps you, pick the people who will support you and filter the people who will probably never support you and will just be there maybe to laugh at you or to troll you. So at every point in time, stay true to yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Invest in yourself and keep learning. Nobody's above learning. Keep learning, improve your skills, and make sure that you don't take branding for granted, because it's very important.
Yeah. And lastly, for anyone that's given up on their dreams, maybe they feel like time has passed, it's too late for me, what would you say to them right now?
What I would say is, remember that for God, 10 years is like one day. Once you have that kind of mindset, once you know that with God, anything is possible, I think that's what would help you. So to add to the last question that I answered, after doing all the hard work, after trying to build your brand, whether as a fashion designer or as a hairstylist or even as someone in the banking sector, God is the ultimate source that you must have in order to succeed at anything that you do. No matter how hardworking, no matter how much you branded yourself, no matter how much you put into your personal branding and your business as a brand, I believe that the only person that can truly push you to success faster than you could ever try to help yourself is God. Don't do anything without the help of God. Take steps believing that you've surrendered yourself, your life, your business into God's hand, and He would never ever let you down. Yeah.
Wow, I'm even encouraged myself. Well, thank you so much for having this chat.
Thank you so much.
Can we just give her a big round of applause? Thank you so much, Veekee James.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so honored and happy to be here.